Welcome to Save Your Money, Save Your Teeth, the go-to podcast on e-radio where curiosity meets dentistry straight from the experts. I'm Ian, and every week I'm joined by Dr. Clifford Yudelman from OPTISMILE, and we dive deep into the world of dental care from a consumer's perspective. If you're looking to brighten your smile or maybe protect your wallet, we've got you covered with practical advice and also the latest insights. So do stay with us as we uncover the secrets to maintaining both your dental health and your finances. Today we are wrapping up the segment on dental implants, and we asked the question, why are they worth the investment? Dr. Yudelman, welcome back.
Hi, Ian. Thanks. Hope you had a great week. It's great to chat to you again. And the weather's fantastic here in Cape Town, and the birds are singing, the sun is shining. So it's a great day here. So looking forward to today's episode.
Yes, absolutely. So, Dr. Yudelman, why are dental implants considered a valuable long-term investment for your oral health?
So dental implants, if you haven't heard our previous two podcasts, they were both on implants. Today we're just looking at it from a slightly different point of view, as you just asked me about long-term and investment and oral health. Those are the things that we're going to address. So they offer a permanent solution that can, in many cases, last a lifetime with proper care. Not in all cases. Implants can and do fail for various reasons. Usually it's if the person is not getting regular cleanings or keeping their mouth clean, or if they have diabetes and they don't control the diabetes and so on. But for the average person, they can last a lifetime. They prevent bone loss, and they maintain your jawbone health, and they preserve your facial structure. When you lose teeth, if you don't replace the teeth, the bone disappears as well. And so after losing a tooth, for instance, if you lose a canine or an eye tooth or a premolar, and you get an implant placed at the correct time, the bone will be saved. You won't lose the bone in that area, and your face won't collapse in that area. They eliminate the recurring costs that are associated with dentures or bridges, which need replacement all the time. In general, once the implant is osseointegrated, where it's integrated into the bone, and a crown is put on the implant or a bridge, that superstructure or crown or bridge will last a very long time, especially with today's materials. It improves overall oral health by reducing the risk of decay in adjacent teeth, and enhances the quality of life by restoring full function and aesthetics. You can chew on them, you can smile with them, and it really is, they are expensive, whichever way you look at it. But it is an investment for long term, and it's not only your oral health but also your self-esteem.
Okay, and how do they offer durability, when you compare them to, say, dentures or bridges?
So they're made from strong materials like titanium. So the main type of implant is titanium, which is very strong, and it integrates into the bone. And then these days, the crowns and the bridges that we put on top are made from zirconium in most cases, which are very, very good, very strong, very natural. They don't decay. They're not susceptible to cavities like natural teeth. They're securely anchored into the jawbone, so they provide stability over time. And they don't require periodic adjustments or relining like dentures do, and they withstand all normal biting and chewing forces effectively. So dentures can move around and irritate the gums, or if you have a bridge, the average bridge worldwide, where you file down the tooth in front and the tooth behind, and you put 3 crowns in, basically, those bridges are susceptible to coming loose or damaging the abutment teeth, which are the teeth that have had to be drilled down. In this case, you're not drilling those teeth down. Many cases of bridges, within a few years, one or both teeth end up needing root canals, and within 7 years, one or either of the teeth, or sometimes both, can be lost. And then instead of just one missing tooth, you now have 3 missing teeth. So bridges, most dentists these days, except in very special circumstances, will not file down a perfectly good tooth in front and behind of a lost tooth. If you've got a big filling or already have a crown on the tooth in front and the tooth behind, then there's not a lot to say about just putting a bridge in, but you don't get all the bone preserving. Yeah, not to answer too long, but yeah, that's in a nutshell.
Okay, and in what?
Or more than a nutshell. That's a whole bag of nuts right there.
Yes. Okay, and also, in what ways do they improve functionality in everyday activities, like, for example, eating and speaking?
Well, when people get dentures, the upper denture can generally fit quite well. You get good suction on upper denture. Lower dentures, the lower ridge, once you lose a teeth, keeps disappearing or resorbing. They find that the diet in people who wear full upper and lower dentures, they can't chew meat, they can't eat nuts, they can't eat a lot of healthy foods, carrots, celery, salads. They tend to just eat much softer foods. And so implants, by screwing in a denture or having an overdenture that clips in, or by having some bridges in the back, your chewing of a variety of foods improves without restrictions. Speaking with loose dentures is very common. There's a lot of slippage, and sometimes speech is impeded. They generally feel and function like natural teeth, providing comfort and confidence. It removes the need for adhesives or special cleaning routines, and it enables patients to enjoy social situations without worrying about the denture being loose or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that can probably get quite embarrassing, but can you also discuss how implants contribute to better oral health over time, doctor?
Yeah, so if you, for instance, lose a lower molar, say your lower left molar is lost, the most common one that people lose would be the 6-year molar. So let's just say your wisdom teeth are missing. Then you've got canine tooth, which is your number 3. Number 4 and 5 are your premolars. Your 6-year molar just happens to be number 6 from the front. And then you got your 12-year molar, which is your number 7. Let's just say you lose number 6 because you had a root canal and you didn't go and get the onlay or the crown on the tooth, or it split, or it had a big cavity, and at the time you couldn't afford a root canal, which I encourage people to go back and listeners to go back and listen to. We've done podcasts on all of these things. But let's just say you've now lost a lower left molar. Within a very brief period of time, less than a year, the upper molar, if there's nothing touching it, will keep growing down. And what happens, you start to get cavities and gum disease up on those upper teeth because they're no longer in a good position. And your lower molar, your number 7, your 12-year molar, will start tilting forwards into the space. And when you grind your lower teeth forwards, instead of your front teeth hitting first, this lower tilted molar could start bumping on your upper over-erupted tooth, and it just turns into a real shambles. So if there's any way you can get a tooth replaced within 3 to 6 months of losing it, if you can get an implant or at least a space maintainer or something to help to stop this drifting of teeth, that would be really good, because the risk of gum disease goes up. And as we just mentioned earlier, if you do bridges that compromises the adjacent teeth, they really have to be filed down a lot. Oral hygiene is very similar to caring for natural teeth. You just brush and floss. And we find that if somebody loses, say in this case, we're talking about your lower left molar, a lot of the time that the tooth that you lose, depending which side, it would often be your favorite chewing side. That's why you end up cracking or losing that tooth, because that was the side that you were chewing on the most. Then what happens, as soon as you've got a gap there, even if there is a tooth behind, you tend to then eat on the other side, and you tend to only eat on one side of your mouth, even though you might still have some teeth left in that quarter or quadrant. So it supports overall health by improving nutrition and better chewing ability.
And then, as you mentioned earlier, it also helps preserve jawbone density and prevent facial structure changes. Would you like to elaborate more on that topic?
Yes, so it stimulates the jawbone because there's forces on the implant which cause the implant to integrate. And then once the bone around the implant has integrated around the implant, that bone generally stays there unless you're not keeping it clean or you've got gum disease elsewhere in your mouth. You can get gum disease on an implant. They're not bulletproof. You do need to look after them. It will prevent bone resorption. So if you lose your lower left molar, as we were talking about, and you don't get an implant, you will get bone resorption on the front of that 12-year molar, number 7, and gum resorption or recession on the number 5 if you leave it for several years. You can still go ahead in many cases, if you haven't lost too much bone, go ahead and get an implant, but the gum won't grow back. So then you might have to get bone grafts or gum grafts to cover those roots. So if you are sitting on the fence about whether to get an implant or not, there's many reasons why one should do that. So preserving bone density and facial structure. Facial structure is more if people lose several teeth on the upper, the sort of cheekbone, it helps. You sort of can lose support there where your canine or eye tooth is. And then if you lose front teeth and then you lose bone, your lip support. A lot of people who've lost lip support in the front, they go out, especially women, mainly women. I don't think I've ever seen a man with lip fillers yet, or not that anyone's told me about. So generally females, where they've lost lip support, they'll go and get lip fillers, which to me looks very unnatural. Sorry if you're listening to this and you've had it done. You're way better off restoring the teeth or getting the teeth in a better position so they can give you some natural lip support. So you're not trying to camouflage something. And implants can do that. If they're placed in the correct place and you put a nice, properly contoured or properly shaped tooth that's very natural, it will support your lip and then give you a youthful appearance, with that bone preservation.
Yeah, but I think a lot of women actually go overboard when it comes to lip fillers. It's supposed to be a subtle thing. If you want to do it, just do it subtly. It shouldn't be so like bow in your face. A lot of them have what you call duck face. That's basically a trend right now. I believe that was made popular in Moscow. It's like a very if you go on Instagram, because one of my patients who's from Russia showed me what she thought were perfect veneers or teeth, and then all of the ladies had these excessive lips. This particular patient had those fat lips as well. I didn't want to call them duck lips, and it seems to be like a trend. But I think also people that do things like that, they tend to get addicted to it. Yeah. You can get addicted to plastic surgery and cosmetics until you get to a point of no return. So yes, in the right hands and actually seeing a qualified plastic surgeon, some of these things can help a lot. I recently met a plastic surgeon. I was out for dinner. He was sitting next to me, and they were telling me about how they can actually do some like liposuction on your backside and take out the fat, and then they spin it or micronize it or make it like very, very fine, and they filter it, and they can inject that into your sort of cheek areas or maybe even your lip, and it's your own natural fat, and it can give back. If you're losing, as we get older, your face gets more drawn. And this can give you back some natural fat, some baby fat, so to speak. Goodness gracious! Wow, that's next level, eh? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into it because since he told me that, my face is looking quite sunken.
It's just he's looking for new patients, man.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Joburg. I said, can we get this done in Cape Town, or do we have to come and see you in Joburg? He hasn't answered me. That was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I wonder. No, you look fine, doctor. Yeah. Don't you worry about that. Okay,
thanks.
So health benefits we just discussed.
Sorry, Ian. Everyone looks good on the radio.
Amen, brother. I agree. So, Doctor, we just spoke about the health benefits. What financial benefits do the implants offer us in the long run compared to other dental solutions?
So these days, not a lot of dentists do or specialize in dentures. You can go to like a cheap medical aid type denture place and get a run-of-the-mill or average denture, unless it's an old guy who's been doing it for years and he just charges medical aid rates. But in general, dentures can be very expensive and they don't last long. You can drop them and break them, and there's a lot of advancement now with same-day and 3D printing of dentures. We're looking into it at OPTISMILE. We haven't really scheduled a podcast about dentures. Maybe in the future when we start doing some digital dentures, but nevertheless, the technology is expensive. So the dentures, you get them quicker and they bounce when you drop them, but they can be quite expensive. If you're looking at, say, you've lost a lower molar and you got to get your teeth filed down, and you got to get a crown on this tooth and then a crown on the one in front, and then a crown. It's like getting 3 crowns done. Sometimes, in many cases, an implant will actually be cheaper financial cost, but the biologic cost, the cost to your body on a bridge is very high because you've lost all the enamel on those 2 other teeth, and the tooth, either one or both, can end up with a root canal treatment, which has to be done where you drill through the bridge and then you've got a hole in the bridge, and then that tooth can break or the bridge needs to be replaced after 7 years. Whereas an implant, 99% of implants will definitely last 7 years. The crown on the implant will last 7 years. If an implant's going to give trouble, it could be after 15 or 20 years. But a bridge, every dentist thinks their bridges last 10 or 20 years. They'll tell you that. But I'm talking about actually published medical and dental journal articles about the average lifespan of it's called a 3-unit bridge. There's dentures, you got to buy adhesives and cleaning solutions. I don't think that's a big deal. If your health is being improved, then that's going to affect. There's a big financial benefit to being healthier. Years ago, the Mayo Clinic used to say that people with their own teeth or that can eat properly into their 70s generally live 10 years longer than people without teeth. So I think that goes for denture, for implants as well. And a lot of medical aids now cover implants. Some people go, if they need multiple implants, they will go and have it done with an oral surgeon in hospital, because they tend to get a general anesthetic or sedation, but the oral surgeons work out of a hospital, and then some people get it covered under a hospital plan. We don't generally get involved with that, but I have had patients that have come from an oral surgeon with implants, and they said it cost them nothing. It was done. I haven't really looked into that because most of our patients, they come to us and they're not too concerned about medical need. But that is, for people listening, something to look into, especially if you need 3 or 4 or you're very scared, then getting sedation or a general anesthetic would be a double whammy. You're going to really save in more ways than one. And the value addition, talking about financial benefits, it's just the increase in quality of life and your personal confidence. I think you can't really put a price to that.
So, Doctor, what are the maintenance requirements for dental implants versus other tooth replacement options?
So I'm yet to see a patient who can floss underneath their bridges properly or clean. I'm exaggerating. There are 1 or 2 people that can keep bridges clean, but in general, it's very difficult. They get a bad taste or smell. Bridges are not very nice to have, and they're difficult to clean. In general, people really love the implant, similar to looking after natural teeth, unless you've got something called all-on-4, all-on-6, where you've got kind of a denture that's screwed in, then you've got to use floss threaders, but we do them so that you can clean them nicely. You got to go and have professional cleanings regularly to maintain gum health, and you need a dentist to monitor your integrity of your implant. You need to get an x-ray every so often, and the dentist will poke around and make sure there's no bleeding. You don't have to use any special soaking solutions or adhesives like you do with a denture. We really don't see too many people with dentures. When we're talking about implants here, it's more a case of someone losing a front tooth in an accident, or a lower molar, or maybe a whole bunch of teeth because they had a bridge that failed and now they've lost 3 teeth. So that's quite common, actually.
Okay, and can you share any other patient experiences that highlight the long-term benefits of choosing dental implants?
Yeah, I mean, we see all the time patients love their implants. They come back, they say, I can't believe I left that for 3 or 4 years. I really wasn't eating on that side. My jaw feels better because I'm eating on both sides now. I've seen patients that were treated by other dentists that had implants 20 or 30 years ago, and some of them are in their 80s, and they look like spring chickens. They fit and healthy. They eat whatever they want. They eat lots of nuts. They eat carrots and celery, and they enjoy sports and play tennis or golf, and I think it's because they got a full set of teeth, and they seem to have really good self-esteem, and they're happy. I've never had someone that's come in that has said, oh, I wish I never got my implants done because I would have saved so much money and I didn't really mind having all those gaps. So I don't know. It's just I don't want to sound like a second-hand tooth salesman. They say your first 2 sets of teeth are free, but the third one you pay for.
Yeah.
And that one goes along with, you don't have to floss all your teeth, just the ones you want to keep.
That's so true. Yeah, true story. But just lastly, Doctor, what would you say to someone who's a bit hesitant about the upfront cost of dental implants?
So that's very understandable. They are expensive. I don't know what the range is in Cape Town, but with a specialist or a higher end clinic, one's looking at anywhere from about 35,000 Rand to 50,000 Rand for a single tooth implant. And when you get multiple implants or multiple teeth, the price per tooth goes down. If you need a 3-tooth bridge, you're only getting 2 implants and then the bridge on top of that. So you're not paying for 3 teeth. So there's things you and every single case is different. Your friend could go and get an implant that's done in one visit, and they get a crown, they got strong bone and they don't need a temporary and so on. Or you might have no bone and you might need a bone graft, and then you might need a fancy Swiss implant that costs twice as much as a Megagen or a Korean implant or whatever it is. We only use the best quality at OPTISMILE, and you get what you pay for in general. There are South African implants. There's implants from China and from all over. And amongst dentists, the dentists tend to know which ones are better. Those are the ones they would put in their own family members or in their own mouths. Sometimes the cost isn't everything. It's the cost effectiveness over time. It's the quality of life. There are finance options. At OPTISMILE, we now have something called Float, where you can put something on your credit card. If you've got a credit card with 50,000, limit on it that you don't like to use it because you don't want to pay interest, you can pay on Float with that, and they can spread your payment out over 6 months with no interest. So you can bring the payment right down. It's more of an investment in your overall health and your well-being, and a lot of people have ways to beg, borrow, or steal the money, but I don't recommend the stealing one. Beg or borrow it. Maybe sell your car and start walking, but don't rob a bank. And I encourage people to discuss their concerns with a dentist. Don't just guess or just put your hands up and say it's not in my reach. Book a free video consult at OPTISMILE. Send us some photos. We'll give you a better idea. Or a lot of dentists offer video consultations. And of course, at some point, you'll have to get a scan and a 3D X-ray. We include the 3D X-rays at no extra charge when patients come in for their full 1.5 hour consultation. We did a podcast back, like what does a dental exam entail? So we speak about that. And yeah, look, just if you've got missing teeth, or you're suffering with a denture, or you've got a bridge that is got a bad smell or taste, or it might have an infection, you might be looking at implants sooner than later, and don't leave it until the last minute. So hopefully that helps, and that wraps up our 3-part series on implants. And next week is something very different. I did promise to do things that would help people. This is about helping listeners and not necessarily just selling dental services. And our next 3 podcasts will be about snoring and sleep apnea. And you may wonder, what has a dentist got to do with snoring or sleep apnea? Well, be sure to tune in.
Looking forward to that, Dr. Yudelman. A big thanks to you once again. And remember also, while we strive to provide valuable insights on this podcast, you must always consult with your own dental professional for advice tailored to your personal health. Subscribe to our podcasts for more enlightening discussions, and join us again next week as we continue to explore the fascinating intersection of dental health and also financial savvy. Until then, do join us again. Keep smiling and taking great care of your teeth.
Discover the world of dental excellence with OPTISMILE. Join us for a weekly podcast featuring Dr. Clifford Yudelman, a seasoned expert with 40 years of dental experience across 4 continents. Gain unique insights and expert dental advice by visiting optismile.co.za for articles that illuminate the path to optimal oral health. If you're seeking unparalleled dental care in Cape Town, get in touch with OPTISMILE or book directly online on optismile.co.za. OPTISMILE, where global expertise meets local care.